Good evening. On behalf of the Board of Education, our superintendent, faculty, and staff, I would like to welcome you all to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2016. At this time, I would ask that everyone silence or turn off any electronic devices. Before we begin our commencement this morning, or this afternoon, I would like to make a few announcements. The first announcement, I'd like to extend a congratulations to our girls softball team, who today in 12 innings in Massillon were 1-0 victors, and to Morgan Zoper in our senior class. She's our only senior member. Congratulations to our girls softball team. They will play in the state tournament at Akron Firestone Stadium on Thursday at 5:30 in the afternoon. Tickets will be on sale for the game starting Tuesday evening. We will do hopefully a one call to let everybody know the information for the girls softball state tournament. I'd also like to take a moment and recognize, let's give them a round of applause. I would also like to recognize a few groups and individuals before our commencement starts. First, Thursday at our senior awards breakfast, we recognize all of our seniors. A few of our seniors were not recognized for the Sour Wine Award. I would like to recognize them right now. Scott Erb, Brant Rothbauer, Brooks Thomas, Cole Frank, Landon Bear, Lucas Beabout, and Jenna Peace. I'd also like to recognize groups from both the Ruritan groups from both Greenford and Beaver Townships for supporting our community and school, especially each graduating class from South Range. Thanks to the Ruritan groups. And lastly, all individuals that have served our country in any capacity of the military, please know that you're being recognized for your service and sacrifice. And we would like to all continue to stand and join in the singing of our Star Spangled Banner as our band plays the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you to all of the military and all the service that you've provided and the dedication to our country and to our individual freedom. At this time, I would like everyone to just remain standing. Seniors, remove your caps for the playing of the Star Spangled Banner. Please be seated. At this time, I would ask that the 2016 valedictorians please take their place. Our first co-valedictorian, Landon Bear.
Good evening. Today, South Range High School says farewell to yet another senior class as it heads out into the world. This is an important time in our lives, as each one of us will soon take a different path into our future. Some of us will be heading off to our first years in college. Others will enter straight into the workforce, and there are a select few of us who will look to serve our country. As life takes us in these different directions, we say goodbye to parts of our lives that we have come to know for the past 13 years. Whether sweet or bittersweet, these goodbyes make way for what's ahead, our next hello. With an end, there is a new beginning, and with a goodbye, there is also a new hello. Even though we say goodbye to this part of our lives, we also welcome in and say hello to the next chapter in our lives. The future is bright for the class of 2016 in whatever direction it takes us. So, as we celebrate today the class of 2016, we welcome what the future holds. Today, we say goodbye to things from the past and hello to the world and our futures that are glimmering on the horizon. I would now like to introduce co-valedictorian Jordan Campanelli.
Goodbye to being comfortable. If you know me well, or even if you just know my name, if you see me walking down the halls of South Range wearing a giraffe onesie, you're not even going to do a double take. You won't think twice about it because that's just Jordan. We've gone to school with each other for the past 13 years, and to say it simply, we've gotten comfortable. Think of it like a puzzle, with all of us being the pieces and our classes as a whole being the final picture. Over the years, as we've discovered ourselves and been able to mold our shapes, as well as find our place, as time progressed, we eventually settled into our cozy spots designed just for us, and were able to form the class of 2016. But when fall arrives, we will all be picked up from our spots and put into a new puzzle. At first, we will have little or no connecting pieces, depending on how many of us are going to the same place, unless you're going to YSU where you'll have half of the puzzle. But eventually, you'll reestablish yourself. You'll make new connections, and eventually you'll find yourself yet again. It's going to be frightening at first. Maybe you won't be able to walk around in your favorite animal onesie the first day without being judged. But this scary and uncomfortable time should be embraced, not shunned. We should use this time to step out of our comfort zones, to do things that we never would have before, and to redesign our lives the way we should think they should be. I'm terrified for what's to come next, but I've never been more excited. Thanks for the past 13 years, kids. I would now like to introduce my co-valedictorian, Morgan Kohler.
Today, we get to say goodbye to the inside of the box and hello to a love of learning. Only some of us have found ways to enjoy what we've had to learn over the last 13 years. Starting today, we have the privilege of moving forward, but in a way, we also get to move back. When we were 3 years old, we spent most of our time asking why. We were just beginning to learn about this magnificent world and to put together some semblance of logic behind it and what was going on. We may have annoyed our parents a little bit, but this is when we found a passion for learning without even knowing it. Over the years, we may have lost that curiosity. Maybe not because we feel we've got it figured out. I know none of us do. But because we've lost the motivation behind our curiosity. But what is lost can be found. My hope is that each of us tracks down our curiosity and that we can all be free again. That we will be driven to leave the inside of the box for good. And that we will allow ourselves to ask why again. This point in our lives, this next step is frightening. It won't be as smooth as the concrete stairs we've had in here for 4 years. Our way up will be rocky. It won't be comfortable, for we must dare ourselves to be uncomfortable. But we can take comfort in our freedom to decide the direction in which to climb. We get to find our passion now, or pursue it already if we're lucky. Most importantly, we get to love what we learn. Whether it's poetry, an essential trade, a professional degree, an art, skills as a parent, or how to serve in our military. We can take comfort in the fact that God will guide us up the rocky slope and make our paths straight. I would now like to introduce my co-valedictorian, Caitlin Donnelly.
Goodbye childhood, hello responsibility. Up until this point, the majority of us have really never had any major responsibility. That will all change next year. We will be going to college and actually have to do things on our own. We will have to pay back loans in a few years and take full responsibility for our actions. The aspects of our lives that we take for granted now will soon be gone. Next year, our parents will not be around to make our problems go away and fix our mistakes for us. While they will always be there for us, the choices that we make and the consequences of those actions are ultimately our own. Those days where we can just stay home and do nothing or go out whenever we want will soon be far behind us. In a few short years, we will have serious jobs and real responsibilities. As much as we have complained this past year, the last 2 weeks were rough for everyone. We will soon be looking back and wishing that the only problem we had to worry about was whether or not we could get all of our English projects done while still finding time for our other finals. We will soon realize that these problems that seem like the end of the world were not actually problems at all. As we leave this stage of our lives behind and get older, we will realize what is really important in life and hopefully take advantage of it while we still have the chance. Now I would like to introduce my co-valedictorian, Emily Frommel.
Goodbye, big fish, small pond. Hello, big pond. It's nice to meet you. I'm now a very small fish. Despite the path you are taking after we say a final goodbye or who you're taking along with you, each one of us is going to experience the very overwhelming and human feeling of, wow, I am very small. The more we take on, the more it will seem as though the numbers of those against us are adding up rapidly, and we remain one tiny person in this gigantic world. While this is going to be frightening and daunting, it also presents a very cool opportunity. Despite what size fish you are, maybe you're even a mermaid, a bigger pond just means more room to grow. So grow. Find the biggest pond you can, do your best, and do not get comfortable. Comfortable is boring. Check things off your bucket list, challenge yourself, break records, and do not stop growing. We've been told endless times that our limits are also endless, but that couldn't be more true. I'm already really excited for our class reunions because I can't wait to see all the incredible things each of you accomplishes. But while I think you should take advantage of each big pond in your future, don't let it engulf you to the point where you stop working on you. And don't become discouraged if you haven't found your pond as quickly as everyone else. Remember that while the world is very large, you are very important and you matter. Never forget that you do have an impact and you do affect others, so be kind to them and be kind to yourself. And finally, God blessed us with a close-knit community that overflows with love and will welcome us home with open arms anytime that we need. So take advantage of that too. Thank you guys all for a fantastic 13 years. I would now like to introduce my friend and co-valedictorian, Madeline Kimple.
Good evening. Wow. How did I get so blessed? Although I am one of the younger Raiders in my class, having only been here 4 years, I feel as though I have been here all my life. And I wouldn't trade these past 4 years for many reasons. Most of those reasons involve the special people who are sitting here in front of me in this beautiful sea of burgundy and gold. Tonight, I'd like to talk about saying goodbye to friends and saying hello to new people. I may have had to say goodbye to a lot of really great friends when I moved here freshman year, but I got to say hello to dozens of wonderful friends I've made here at SRHS. And over the years I've spent apart from my first school friends, I can confidently tell you that true friendships really do last. Our situation here as graduating seniors is very similar. While we are saying goodbye to our classmates and peers, we are turning a page and saying hello to new people and the opportunity to make new friends. Isn't it amazing that we've had the opportunity to spend the last year, 4 years, 18 years together? Isn't it beautiful that we were designed for fellowship, that we were created with a desire to be with others? I wish there were words to express how moving to South Range has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. Without the people I have met in the past 4 years, I would not be the person I am today. I am more of myself, more of the young lady that God has designed me to be because of the influence of my family and friends. If I did not have one of them, I would be without a part of myself. God has truly blessed me with a wonderful class to be a part of, and I have the best friends in the whole world. As we go out tonight and embark on new endeavors soon, we'll all put on invisible, "Hello, my name is" name tag. We will meet people from many different walks of life. Some will become fast friends, some we may not know how to handle. There will be people you can't get enough of and people you can't get away from fast enough. But no matter who you are and who they are, treat them with the respect they deserve. Friends, be wise about who you say hello to. The people we surround ourselves with are the people that we become. And as cliche as it sounds, you are who your friends are, so choose wisely. Go out with the intention to bless others, to serve, to be kind, to move forward, to use the gifts and talents you have been given, to make a positive impact on the world as you seek to better yourself. Remember that forgiving someone does not mean trusting them. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Do not burn bridges. Do not forget about your home. There's a lot of good in this life. Thank you to my friends, family, teachers, coaches, administrators, and the South Range community for supporting me and my classmates and enriching and impacting our lives. And tonight, as we leave this gymnasium, this is not going to be a goodbye, but a see you soon and a hello, my name is Madeline Kimple. I would now like to introduce my friend and co-valedictorian, Brian Patrick.
Goodbye to who we think we are. Hello to who we really are. As we enter the next stage of our lives, we are quickly approaching exciting new challenges and opportunity for change. We've reached an intersection where comfort and familiarity cross uncertainty and untapped potential. As we make the turn onto this unknown road, remember to have confidence in yourself and in your abilities, and to take advantage of every opportunity available to learn about yourself. What you find may surprise you, and might even counter what you previously thought of yourself. Talking to new people, living in a different environment, and tackling challenges will help expose traits in yourself that you never even knew existed. Don't hinder your chance for growth by focusing too much on what people think of you. Instead, concentrate on gaining confidence, figuring out what you believe in, and determining how you want to live your life. This will help you realize that other people's interpretations of you are irrelevant. Conforming to the views of others to simply gain their approval won't get you very far, but standing up for what you believe in will allow you to develop a strong and unique sense of identity and purpose. Over the last few years, I've learned that the most meaningful and genuine relationships form between people who can be themselves in front of one another and respect the fact that you and only you can decide who you are. I've learned that being myself has provided me with the best friends I could ever ask for, and that conforming to the ways of others has gotten me nowhere. So as we complete this turn onto the new road ahead of us, I'm confident that we are all ready to develop as individuals, remembering that we are the only ones who can determine who we really are. And I'd now like to introduce my co-valedictorian and friend, Ali Sakis.
Goodbye to the class of 2016, but I suppose it would be more fitting to say see you later. I know that during this time in our lives, we are parting ways and starting on a new and exciting adventure. I also know that no matter how far we venture away into the great big world that awaits, we will always have this community here waiting for our return. We have it to thank for shaping us into the people that we are in preparing us for what we may face in the future. So with this, I say to follow your dreams, no matter how scary they may seem, and no matter how big of a risk you must take to achieve them. Take that risk, because even if you do not succeed, you will always have this community to catch you and put you back onto your feet. So although South Range will be saying goodbye to the class of 2016, we are ready to say, hello world, meet the South Range class of 2016. I would now like to introduce co-valedictorian Ryan Simpson.
Goodbye to our 4 years in high school. When we walked through the doors as freshmen, we never thought we would be saying goodbye so soon. It seems like just yesterday when we couldn't find our locker, let alone our first classroom. As our 4 years progressed, we all found our niche along the way, whether it be in a particular sport or favorite club. For me, it was playing football with my brothers on Memorial Field. It was tough when Coach Egley had us running 300s up and down the field, but I would give anything to go back because it all ended so quickly. It was Coach Egley for me, and for many of you, it was your coaches, teachers, and friends that helped shape us into the bright young men and women we are today. We all made memories and friendships that will last a lifetime. Now, while saying goodbye to South Range will be difficult, we are all about to say hello to our futures. As diverse as our futures may be, we will always be able to remember the great times we had and the first time we said hello to South Range High School. I would now like to introduce my friend, co-valedictorian Brooks Thomas.
Goodbye to our parents making decisions for us, and hello to making our own impactful decisions. My parents have had a huge impact on my life. They have taught me right from wrong, and have helped instill their morals and beliefs on me, and I'm sure many of you can say the same. But as many of us move away for college and start a life on our own, we will have to learn to be independent and make our own decisions. Regardless of what our parents believe, out in the real world, we are ultimately the ones that will decide what matters to us. Will we continue to go to church, or did we just go in high school because our parents did? Are we going to skip classes without our parents making sure that we wake up every morning? Are we going to study at all and try to earn the best grades possible without our parents there checking progress book every 5 seconds? At my mom. Are we going to be wise with our money and develop a budget without our parents there to monitor our spending? All of these decisions will affect us for the rest of our lives. Our decisions now are of greater consequence, and one regrettable decision may crush our hopes and dreams for the future. For most of us, we have already made our first decision in life in choosing a college. This is the first of a long string of decisions that would define our transition into adulthood. First a college, then a career, then a specific job, a spouse, starting a family, the list goes on. Author Roy Bennett said, "Whatever choice you make makes you. May our class be defined by right and responsible choices. May we, the class of 2016, choose wisely." And I'd just like to end my speech by saying a quick prayer for the class of 2016. So let's pray. God, I just thank you for bringing us all here safely today, Lord. And I just thank you for the class of 2016. They've all played a huge role in my life, Lord, in shaping me into the man I am today. And I just thank you for this great community, Lord, who has helped me and this class flourish and grow. I pray that you bless this class with goodness and love, and that you will always use their gifts wisely, and walk into the future with faith, hope, and love. Amen. Thank you.
front. And now, class of 2017, Jordan DeSantis will perform You'll Never Walk Alone.
Through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be
I get nervous to talk in front of everyone, and we got kids in our school that are that fantastic that can do something like that. Could we just give her one more round of applause? At this time, I would ask that the salutatorians please take their place. I'd like to introduce to you co-salutatorian Molly Davidson.
We have spent so many years together, it's easy to think we know each other. We fall into roles, the smart one, the funny one, the quiet one. It's easy being the versions of ourselves everyone looks for, while they're all being the versions of themselves people look for in them. Goodbye to being who we've always been expected to be, and hello to being who you want to be being something different, to allowing ourselves to change and discover who we are apart from these people we've grown up with and the place that's been so much of our identity for so long. Every one of us is going somewhere different after this. We may not all know for sure where that is. In fact, none of us know for sure where we will end up. The hopes and dreams that we let shape us over the past 4 years are where we will begin. But there is so much more than that. As we step away from this moment and into the future, there is a chance to choose who we become. There is a chance to look back on the people we have always been and decide that that is not who we want to be anymore. We will meet new people and find ourselves in new situations where we are more than members of South Range's class of 2016. We all have a chance to become someone our classmates would not recognize, and I hope that for each of us, that person is exactly who we want them to be. Now introduce Cove salutatorian Molly Pearson.
Hi. Goodbye, our worlds. Hello, world. For the past 12 years at South Range, most of our decisions revolved around us. What should I pack for lunch? Who should I hang out with this weekend? Where should I go to college? All of us most likely chose the option that would benefit us then and there. Our life was our own world. Now is the time to remember that our life is part of the world. Our decisions now not only affect us, but they affect the people and the environment around us. I was always told that the goal in life is to leave the world a better place than we were first put on it. Most of us were born in 1997, 1998, and we have lived through the first iPhone, the creation of robotic limbs that can respond to human nerves, the legalization of gay marriage, the first African American president, and if you were born in 1997, you were born when Netflix was born. We've also lived through 9/11, war in Iraq and Afghanistan, Hurricane Katrina, the huge BP oil spill, and now ISIS. So many historic events have happened and have shaped the world we live in today. It is our turn to help shape the world. It is our turn to be kind, to accept a diverse range of people, to stop global warming, to fight for what is right, and to move forward in the medical field, to save lives, and simply give back what the world has given to us. We are all moving on to do great things, and we will do great things. But if you see someone who needs help, go help them out. If you see a plastic bottle just sitting there on the side of the road, pick it up, throw it in a recycling bin. If you have the opportunity to study your butt off and find the answer for anything, then study as hard as you can. Make decisions that will benefit the world, and the world will benefit you in return. Thank you, class of 2016, for being unbelievably lovely people, and good luck.
Now for the presentation of the class, I'd like to ask Mr. Dennis Dunham to come to the podium.
Members of the Board of Education, parents, relatives, honored guests, faculty members, and members of the class of 2016, good evening. This evening we're here to celebrate the graduation of the class of 2016, and for many of you, It's just hard to believe that 13 years of formal education has passed by. And as you're all well aware, this is an exceptional senior class. There have been many accomplishments. Now, tonight I promise to keep my comments short as I fully realize how eager all of you are to get on with it. You're eager to get those diplomas for which you've worked so hard. You're eager to join your families and your friends and share your joy with them. And lastly, you're eager to get started with your plans for the future. Tonight I have the distinct pleasure of speaking to all of you, and most of you would assume that he's going to impart some words of advice before he walks off the podium. And I think that's probably a fair statement. That I would like to share with you a few words of advice before we're done here this evening. But just recently I was able to spend a few minutes with the 4 sections of the class of 2016 in their senior English classes. And it was a pretty nice morning and afternoon for me to be able to spend some time listening to the class of 2016. So it doesn't happen very often that I can kind of have a captive audience in a group like this, the seniors in the class of 16. So my intent of my visit was to gain some valuable information and sort of like an exit interview from our seniors as to how things went and what we can do better as a school system. And after I left the English classes for the day, it truly dawned on me that they left me with many more pieces of advice than what I could ever give back to our class of 2016. I know it seems a little bit backwards, but this group had a lot of great comments, and I was hoping I could share a few things from those moments that I had in the senior English class. The class of 2016, by their very own admission, they told me that they're very tolerant and they're very forgiving of one another in one's individuality. They're really quick to point out to me that this class, that this school is not very diverse. We're not diverse at South Range. We really don't have some of the issues that other districts deal with, but what works at South Range may not work at other districts and vice versa. The class of 2016 felt that overall they received an above average education. Obviously something that we like to hear. They felt very safe in school and during the school-related activities throughout their careers. They attributed the feeling of being safe to parental support and parental involvement. They felt that the music department absolutely rocks. Not very happy with the parking lot situation. I agreed with them. I said, I'll take a look at the alternatives to make things better for all, more efficient for all, and tried to point out to them that institutional change takes some time, and they would be very surprised how layered things become, but to effect change, it takes some time, but things do happen. They really thought that the current freshman class needs some additional guidance. Probably not a good idea for me to elaborate today, but they really felt that they need some help. I kind of summed it up like this. It's that similar to sibling rivalry, when the oldest child reminds the parents that the younger sibling is getting away with things. In their minds, the class of 2016, they are perceived by other schools. How they're looked upon by other schools in Mahoning, Trumbull, or Columbiana County. And again, this is overall perception of our class, that they felt that other schools thought, in a broad range, that they were hillbillies, that they were snooty, that they were rich, that they were preppy, they were farmers, they were farm kids. And depending on the specific school, they narrowed it down for me. City schools tend to look upon us as farmers. Rural schools tend to look at us as snooty, stuck up, and rich. Not sure if any of it's a fair assessment, but that's the perception from our class. They wanted to see school spirit improve, but they thought they're leaving a very good template to improve upon. In the end, I walked away with the class of 2016, and I felt good about the fact that they're ready to move on to the next step, and they're going to achieve some great things. So to keep my promise, what is it that I can really lend in terms of advice before our graduates come up to get their diploma? Obviously, I can share some general thoughts with all of you and give you some thoughts to ponder. And during my visit with the seniors, I mentioned that the Board of Education and I would be very soon taking the necessary steps to begin the planning phases for a strategic plan for the present and future of the district. So my initial question was, class, what is a strategic plan? So many of them thought about that for a moment and said, okay, must be you're setting goals, you're coming to an agreement, a consensus, unintended outcomes, and things that you just want to see change here at South Range. In short, and it was so cool because one of the students said, it's really a roadmap for the district's success. The strategic plan is a roadmap for the district's success. And in my mind, they couldn't have used a better description, a roadmap for success. So, of course, the first question to any plan is, where are we now? How do we get there? What is it that we want to do or achieve or go, and how are we going to get there? So as we go through many of the stages in our lives, the roadmap for success sometimes gets a little fuzzy, and the road becomes really windy, and it also becomes bumpy. But the map for success is somewhat different for each individual seated before us tonight. Sometimes we just don't have the skills or the resources necessary to compete or achieve the plan that we set out to conquer. So the roadmap to success, as you might imagine, can come in a variety of formats, or in this case, routes. But in the most simplistic terms that I can offer this evening, most of our graduates have experienced what I would call the Google Maps version of life during their formative and educational years. The Google Maps version of life. So when our students mentioned to me that the strategic planning is a roadmap to success, it occurred to me that their roadmap has been a little one-sided compared to when I was their age, or a lot of our folks in here this evening, and I'm going to assume the vast majority of our adults have experienced a stark contrast as well as compared to the class of 2016. As adults, for me, I think I probably experienced the Rand McNally Road Atlas version of life, whereas the class of 2016 is leading the Google Maps version of life. So what's the difference? Well, years ago, all of you, at least sitting in the audience, it probably didn't even look like this. The big atlas with all the lines, and in fact, if I were to ask any of our graduates to come forward and tell me how to get from point A to point B using the road atlas, might be a little difficult. The Google Maps version for our graduates, it's right here. It's right here. It's in the phone. Maybe it's a Garmin. So the Google Maps is just a voice command, aerial view of routes. The phone or Garmin predestination, it's already set. The Rand McNally Atlas, the hard copy, it's left to one's interpretation. There's many choices. There's no right or wrong way to get there. But boy, things are going to change for our class of 2016. For the better. It's a big and wonderful world out there. The Google Maps version has at times that one voice, that one authority, that one correct way to get there, and it gives you the turn-by-turn directions, how long it's going to take, points of interest, the fastest route if you choose, and oh, by the way, GPS, people tracking you every step of the way. For the past 18 years of your lives, you've had one voice or a number of voices telling you where you needed to go, how long it would take, to get there and really how to go about getting things done. In fact, if it wasn't the one voice, it was a text or it was a call, checking to make certain that you were still on the right course. I know I was one of those voices. I'm sure a lot of the parents in the audience, a lot of those voices. For many of you, that one voice was the family member that really only had the best interest in our minds because we didn't want you to take that wrong turn. So this week leading up to graduation, I'm sure it feels different to you. I would point out to you that there's probably been a little less of the Google Maps version of life. My guess is that life has slowed down just a tad. You've been able to do some things that you never had a chance to do in your life because of all the things you've been involved in over the last 13 years of school. You've had some time to do things, to go places, and probably less restrictions than you've had in the past. So the contrast between the Rand McNally Road Atlas and the version of life in terms of the Google Maps version of life is really 180 degrees different. The characteristics associated with both are pretty interesting. So imagine this, setting out on a trip in 2016 with 4 or 5 of your best buds or your best friends in a car. I can see some of you, 2 in the front seat, 3 in the back, and you have that map, that road atlas sprawled across your laps, and you're trying to figure out you're not sure if you make a left or right hand turn out of the driveway, let alone getting to your destination. Imagine telling your parents you're going to go to Petoskey, Michigan, because it's a graduation present. It's a trip. You're just going to go for a week. But you don't have a clue other than the fact it's in Michigan. In fact, you're not sure again, am I going to go left, right out of my driveway, straight? But you're going to get there. You might take time to research the trip. It's highly unlikely that you're going to do that. That would be pre-planning. Right? How far it takes to get there, how long it takes to get there, you can figure out the distance. But you know what? None of that's probably going to happen. But in that car, and how you've been in the last 13 years, the collaboration, the social connectedness is lacking in the Google Maps version of life. That's not what life is. Life is for doing, and life is, well, you're in charge of life. Please understand, I'm not suggesting to go back to the Rand McNally Road Atlas version of life. But, you know, those paper maps, there are many children, marriages, and families that were spared with the advent of the GPS. I don't know about all of you, but when I went on vacation as a kid, the wrong turns, the families becoming completely lost in unforsaken places have been virtually eliminated by technology. But it didn't hurt us. We were kind of flying by the seat of our pants. You now are not flying by the seat of your pants. You have a plan in place. You have a wonderful plan in place. You've proven that. Obviously, we're not going to worry about the Rand McNally version of life. Our parents didn't have to use compasses. We all made it. Now there's one big change. It's not my voice. It's not your parents' voice. It's your voice that you're going to listen to. You now have more control over your life than any other time. Don't forget, we have plenty of voices telling us what to do. That's never going to go away. The exciting part is that your new map is a quest for exciting things that's going to be waiting for you each and every day. The journey will be one in which you know where you're going and how long it will take, but it'll also be one that allows you to take different roads or different courses or paths to get there. But you need to enjoy those sights along the way. When you plug in your phone to get from point A to point B, you lose track of everything, all those via points, all the scenic attractions, because you're not paying attention. Life is for doing. Pay attention. You will see it. A couple of final things here. When I met with the seniors in the English classes, I used an analogy. I said, for those of you that have recreational vehicles, your parents, when you travel, maybe it's a camper, a motorhome, maybe some folks are on motorcycles, maybe it's a bicycle, maybe it's a boat. When you're ready to leave home, people ask you, where are you going? Well, if you're in an RV, a motorcycle, on a boat, bicycle, chances are you're going to reply and say, I don't know where I'm going. When are you going to be back? I don't know when I'm going to be back. Those opportunities are few and far between. You earn the right to be able to take those moments in your life where it's kind of mindless. You're going to go off and do things without knowing exactly where you're going because you don't have that plan. That's a great thing. But to be 100% clear, they're few and far between. You need to balance your freedoms that you have with your commitments and the commitments that you've made to others. But based on what I know, the class of 2016, the road of life for our graduates will contain many new roads that our graduates have forged ahead on and ultimately cleared for the others' success as they follow our graduates. This is a very exciting time of your life. I, along with the South Range Local Board of Education and in the entire South Range community, wish you the very best in your future endeavors. President Wentz, members of the South Range Board of Education, distinguished guests, parents, relatives, and friends, I have the distinct pleasure of presenting the class of 2016 who have satisfactorily completed the prescribed curriculum from the State of Ohio Department of Education, Mahoning County Educational Service Center, and the South Range Local Board of Education. Congratulations, class of 2016. Thank you.
First row. Joanne Marie Slavin. If we could just hold the applause till the very end. Matisse Russo. Jessica Renee Stellers. Anthony Imburgia. Caitlin O'Neill Donnelly. Jamil Hassem Mawley. Miranda Lee Adams. Brayton Taylor. Eliza Jane Garlow. Jordan Michael Gregory. Anthony Jordan Renforth. Stephanie Gianna Grahovic. William Blake Royal. Leah Cassis. Richard Wyatt. Kristen Mackey. Travis Parker Baxter. Carly Nicole Chop. Brian Matthew Patrick. Brooke Catherine Sheridan. Cole Anthony Frank. Megan Lynn Smith. Brant Thomas Rothbauer. Mackenzie Ray Sheckelhoff. Tristan Smith. Madeline Elizabeth Baker. Nicholas Christopher Stanton. Jordan Nicole Campanelli. Brooks David Thomas. Jenna Elizabeth Peace. Zachary Michael Arnett. Madeline Ruth Kimple. Anthony Michael Jordan. Carrie Nicole Adams. Jake Robert Plunkett. Brianna Jean Spalding. Gregory James Dunham. Madison Gray Bokris. James Anthony Reed. Taylor Morgan Powers. Ben Stebleton. Nicole Lynn McKee. Austin Bryce Duncan. Erica Paige Phillips. Preston James Stitt. Kirsten Elizabeth Adams. Keanu Patrick John Kalima. Anna Elizabeth Rezo. Landon Kenneth Bear. Shannon Lee Troy. Luke Everly. Cassidy Ann McKenna. Nathan Douglas Weingart. Emily Louise Frommel. Caleb Michael Chafee. Emma Smith. Ryan Andrew Simpson. Jesse Noel Svelbar. Zach Hodgson. Emily Rose Moretti. Lucas Kenneth Beabout. Morgan Francis Kohler. Mario Anthony Bazzacco. Sarah Elizabeth Baird. Robert Stephen Matus. Charlie Aaron Littleton. Sean Stephen Hennessy. Molly Elizabeth Davidson. Scott David Erb. Tara Lynn Lawless. Mitchell Paul Dolak. Holly Elizabeth Toy. Devin Anthony Cool. Morgan Nicole Zoper. Devin James Fickus. Monica Ann McCabe. Pierce Charles Baird. Morgan Shea Sourwine. Hoyt Easton Lucas. Morgan Lee Ball. Tyler Lee Patterson. Maria Elaine Pepino. Hazel Sky Minnick. Cameron Ray Hobbs. Molly McAndrew Pearson. Mackenzie Ann Ferenchak. Marquetta Marie Gabriel. Alessandra Michael Sakis. Jesse Terry Winkle. Emily Renee Martin. Lydia Elizabeth Schlegel. Kimberly Jean Llewellyn Gilby. Stephen Beatty. Kimberly Renee Schuler. Brandon William Stanley. Megan Marie Schneider. Caitlin Ellen Justison. Natalie Christine Eusebio. Kalina Angela Wisniewski. Patricia Lynn Ritter. Lindsay Paige Kaselica. Tessa Andrea Thomas. Alexis Christine James. Adriana Marie Lewis. Shannon Daly. That is the class of 2016. Wave them up first. Ask them to stand up first. Okay? Molly. At this time, I would ask that everybody stand and join our class in singing the Alma Mater.